In this video, we're going to look at this applied example. Sonoma Company manufactures a 24-bottle wooden wine rack in two versions, a standard rack and a deluxe rack. Each standard rack requires 12 minutes of fabrication time and 4 minutes of finishing time. Each deluxe rack requires 8 minutes of fabrication time and 16 minutes of finishing time. There are 6 hours of time available for fabrication and 8 hours available for finishing each day. So our first question is to write a system of linear equalities that gives the restrictions placed on the number of each type of wine rack manufactured by Sonoma. So we'll do that over here. All right, so we know that the standard rack requires 12 minutes of fabrication time and 4 minutes of finishing time, and the deluxe rack requires 8 minutes of fabrication time and 16 minutes of finishing time. So this is what we get out of this. For our fabrication time, there are 6 hours available, so 12x plus 8y is less than or equal to 6. So we know that this is true because this is going to be our fabrication time. X is our number of standard racks and Y is our number of deluxe racks. So 12 times, that shouldn't be 6 hours, that should be 6 times 60, since this is 6 hours of time available. So that's 360. There we go. Now, for our finishing time, we know that our standard rack takes 4 minutes and our deluxe rack takes 16 minutes. And that's got to be less than or equal to 8 hours, which is 480 minutes. So these are the equations that we need to graph. And that's our next step. We want to graph the solution set of these we want to graph the solution set of this system. Okay, well, fine, we'll drag that over. And I just want to do one thing with this, and I'm going to add 2 additional conditions because we know we can't have negative wine racks. So X and Y must both be greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Well, let's solve these. Let's make these equations a little simpler to work with. This is the same as dividing everything by 4. That'll help us a bit. That'd be 3x plus 2y is less than or equal to 90. Okay, so then I can subtract 3x from both sides. 3x is less than or equal to, 2y is less than or equal to negative 3x plus 90, and then I can divide everything by 2. Y is less than or equal to negative 3/2 x plus 45. Likewise, we simplify our second equation by dividing everything by 4. That gives us x plus 4y is less than or equal to 120. So 4y is less than or equal to negative x plus 120, which means y is less than or equal to negative 1/4 x plus 30. Okay, so I'm going to make my I'm going to make my y column, my y-axis in 30s. That should have been, yeah, let's do it in 15s instead. That'll be a little easier to work with. There we go. Okay, so for my first equation, I have y is less than or equal to 3/2 x plus 45. So we go through this point right here. Well, 3/2 times 3/2 times 30 will be 45. Just do a little, I'm just figuring out what the x scale should be. That 0.2 for the second one. Let's see here. Okay, so negative 3/2 times 30 is negative 45, so that would go through the point 30, 0 as well. No, that doesn't make sense. It's 30, I guess it works. I wish I could pause the recording here, sorry. Just gonna grab the book. Oh, that's the problem, because, okay, this is fine, yes. I'm looking at the wrong point. So we're gonna have this line going through here. This is 30, we'll just do this in 15s again. So we've got this line here. And since we know it has to be equal, everything has to be greater than or equal to 0, it doesn't really matter if we do anything above the x-axis or to the left of the y-axis. Okay, so then our next one, we've got negative 1/4 x plus 30. Well, that's going to go through the x-axis at 120. So let's find some other points we can plug in here. Negative 1/4 times 60 would be negative 15 plus 30 is 15. So we get this line here, like so. Okay, so our solution set is then everything inside here. The next question asks us to determine, can they manufacture 20 each of the standard and deluxe wine racks per day? And they ask us to prove our assertion. So to do that, I want to take our two equations over to the next page. There we go. We could do this with the graph, but the graph is kind of small, so it's going to be easier just to see if this is if this works with these numbers. So we try 20 for x and 20 for y. 12 times, I'd rather have that in black. Sorry, I'm a little OCD about these things. 12 times 20 plus 8 times 20 is 240 plus 160. 240 plus 160 is 400, which is greater than 360. So no. 20, 20, 20 of each type of wine rack doesn't work. Okay, our other question, D, asks if we can make 15 of the standard and 20 deluxe wine racks per day. So we prove our assertions. That's C, and here's D. Okay, so 12 times 15 plus 8 times 20. That is going to be 12 times 15 is 3/4 of 240 or 180 plus 8 times 20 is still 160, and the sum of those is 340. So that works because it's less than 360. Now we see if we can make it work with, so the fabrication time, we've got plenty of time. The finishing time we have to check out still. 4 times 15 plus 8 times 16 times 20. Okay, well, 4 times 15 is 60. Not a big deal there. Plus 16 times 20 is 320 for a total of 380 minutes, which is less than 480 minutes. So yes, because these numbers satisfy both of the inequalities, it works. We can make 15 of the standard wine racks and 20 of the deluxe wine racks with no trouble. That's the end of this one. If you have any questions, let me know.